Syracuse loses a big-time player to the transfer portal.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal news. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for your first chance at $20 off. Today is some sad news for the Syracuse Orange. Trebor Peña has decided to hit the portal. Why? What's next for the Orange? Who's he going to play for? And much, much more. All of that right here on the Portal Podcast. And to help me figure it out, Locked On Syracuse, a guy that was just probably using a handkerchief to wipe his eyes off for all the things going wrong with Syracuse. I asked my friend in a text a little bit ago, why can't Syracuse have nice things, Jackson? Why can't Syracuse have nice things? What's going on with that? Why?
It's not that we can't have nice things. It's whenever we do have a nice thing, it's you get 1 year, you get one chance. That's historically been Syracuse over the past 20 to 25 years. I'm not going to sit here and write the season off because they just lost Trebor Peña. I mean, it's a huge loss, and I just recorded a podcast saying this is a massive loss, and I'm panicking about it. But to answer your question, not having nice things, we do have nice things in Syracuse football land, but it's short-lived.
That's fair. That's fair. So let's break it down. Trebor Peña is a slot receiver that will be a sixth-year senior in the fall. He is a experienced player to the hilt, and here are some of his numbers. I got a gazillion stats from Pro Football Focus. Shout out to them. They do a great job. Last year, 79 catches, 862 yards, 10.9, and 7 scores. More importantly, this is one of the stats that is super rare. I just kind of came across this by looking at it. In 9 of the 12 games he played in, he had a reception of 20 or more yards. Slot receivers are not known for that. He either makes a guy miss, they hit him on a seam, he gets a fade ball, whatever it is. He makes contested catches. He's not your typical Jackson receiver in general, let alone a slot. Why do you like him so much?
He just gets open. Like, how about that? Like that. Let's start there. Isn't one of the jobs of a wide receiver is get open?
It's kind of important.
It's kind of important to get open, right? Number 2 is you prefer to catch the ball, right?
He's got tremendous hands. Absolutely.
He's got great hands and he gets open. Very rarely would Kyle McCord have to throw it to Trebor Peña, and it's in that really tight window because he gets so much separation. He's a very smart player. He knows exactly what to do when a play is called. If it's an option route, it's like he picks the right option. He's a really good football player. And not to mention, he makes you miss. He's a shifty athlete. He's someone that's hard to bring down. And he's got sneaky speed too. He can take the top off a defense. There was a play in the Miami game to end the regular season in the third quarter where he looked like Randy Moss for a play. I'm not joking. It was like a 50-yard bomb, and you're sitting here saying, Trebor Peña? Really? He's a good football player, and the team that ends up with him is getting a star. He was second team All-ACC, and it was not by accident.
Yeah, he earned it. He absolutely did. Here are a few of the other numbers talking about how he performs. On passes that were 9 yards or less, he caught 47 of the 54 targets. That is 87%. That's insane.
Impossible. That just, again, he just gets open. He's there.
382 yards, 8.1, and 3 scores. So he's good in the red zone in the short area where it's hard to throw. McCord's part of that. Don't get me wrong. Out of his 79 catches, 47 went for first downs. Dude, that is money time right there. I saw that stat. I was like, hey. I mean, what would you say McCord went out of his way to look Peña's way on 3rd and 5? Was he that guy for him?
I mean, they had a Rondé Gaston and Jackson Meeks and LaQuinn Allen out of the backfield, so he can honestly take your pick. I mean, it was a pick your poison type deal, but the stats back it up. Every time he threw his way, good things will happen. Or like they would happen. So if he did decide like, hey, I'm going to hunt Trebor Peña on third down, it worked.
Here's the other stat that I found interesting as well. 422 of his 862 yards were after contact. So he's a tough little hombre. Like if you get your hands on him, you better wrap up. A lot of guys that are slot guys, they go down pretty easy. They're not that big. He's strong. He's put together pretty well. He's probably 5'. He's listed at 6 foot. I don't know. I think he's cheating me an inch in there somewhere, but he's a strong guy and he gets by people that don't use good leverage. They don't tackle well. He will expose them. And finally, he's just a player that no matter, I was looking at like short, deep, intermediate, he's consistent across the board. Most slot receivers, it's slant, it's screen, it's hitch, it's out. His route tree is legit. It doesn't matter if he's running a corner route. It doesn't matter if he's running a post like that 50-yarder. Like not a lot of people expect him to go deep, but he can. They had other guys to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything you think that he really needs to work on with wherever he ends up at his final school?
I think he needs to get into the mindset of managers, whether it's college or the NFL, and say that you need to change how you value slot receivers because slot receivers aren't valued that much. It's almost like you covet an outside wide receiver because it's a tougher position to play, similar to offensive line, where you covet an offensive tackle, specifically a left tackle, over any other position on the line, certainly above a guard. So I think Trebor Peña is an incredibly polished football player. I mean, there's always ways for him to improve, but there really is no weakness to his game other than he is a slot wide receiver. And so therefore that kind of hinders his value a little bit.
I think he's a really good player. And I think he could probably play outside in some offenses, at least a little bit, because he's so good off the line. Again, he caught 87% of the passes that were thrown in the air 9 or less yards. Now, I know some of those are bubble screens. Okay, those are gimmies. But even if you're at 70%, like that's legit because that's where tight coverage is. That's where the linebackers are. It's not easy. So I think his all-around ability is probably a little bit underrated. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Peña, what this means for the Orange, and what's somebody going to be getting. Who do we think? All that and more here on the Portal Podcast. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Gametime, you can be a part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Gametime makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as the tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can be save you up to 60%. Last-minute deals, again, 60% off. You've got to check out on Gametime. The app's easy to use. Make sure you go through there and go through all the options. You're going to find some really great ticket options. Plus, I hate it when I go somewhere and I see a price and I go to the register, it's something else. Gametime has all-in ticket pricing. That's really, really nice. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Well, now that he's gone, what's next for Syracuse? Let's knock that out real quick. Anything in particular? Is there a guy you think they're going to play? Are they going to have to get a portal player? Is it both? You're not going to replace him necessarily with one guy. I don't think Peña is going to be replaced just like that. Jackson, what's next for Syracuse?
I think that's honestly what stinks about this situation is you can't replace him with one guy. Who? There's nobody on the roster right now that you would look at and say, yeah, he's going to do something similar to what Peña did last year. You can be optimistic all you want, Syracuse fans. And I'm not sitting here saying, I'm not optimistic about some of the young guys they got. I mean, true freshman Darius Johnson, he flashed in the spring game. I like him. I think he can be a pretty good player. It's like that mystery box versus the proven commodity here. Like Darius Johnson could end up being just Trebor Peña, which would be terrific, right? They got Emmanuel Ross, who's a 4-star wide receiver, and he's a Northeast kid, so that's even tougher to be a 4-star wide receiver from the Northeast. You sure he's going to be second team all ACC next year? I really like Darryl Gill. A, he's not a slot guy, and B, second team all ACC. I don't know. I think Syracuse's wide receiver room still has good depth, but it would shock me if they are not looking for a portal wide receiver right now. I would be shocked. I think they are absolutely going to be in the wide receiver market, especially now that Trebor Peña has exited the team.
I don't think there's any doubt. Here's my secondary question. No offense to Syracuse, but to my knowledge, they're going to spend more on basketball than they are on football with NIL. Is that a fair assessment? It's a basketball school, that's known. But is it debatable? Like, where are we at with that? Because if they could get just a guy that, let's say he's played 2 years at a prominent program and has 40 catches over 2 years, I think that's about where they're going to be. I don't think they're getting the 60 catch guy from a school.
No, I don't think so either. The only silver lining here is, and it's not even a silver lining, but the only thing you can really say about it is whatever money they had set aside for Trebor Peña, well, now they're not spending that on Trebor Peña, so they could use that money elsewhere. I mean, they did bring in Julian Neal from Fresno State, a defensive back, for a visit recently. So if you're really interested in getting another defensive back, which Syracuse could definitely use, then, hey, I mean, now you have more money to offer him because Trebor Peña is gone, or it's an outside chance. I don't think it'll happen, but Nico Imaliava is available if you really want to go after a quarterback in the portal. I mean, if his market craters, well, more money just freed up for you with Trebor Peña leaving. Again, don't think it'll happen, but there's been reports out there that Syracuse is one of the teams involved. Don't think it'll happen, though. They're going after someone, but they are not going to get someone who is as good as Trebor Peña. And what's also stinky about this is they probably need to spend more on basketball, too. They don't spend enough on basketball either.
Okay, so the Orange really can't have nice things, is what Jackson Holzer is telling
It's
everybody.
just short-lived. We can have nice things. Fran Brown is a nice thing. How long is that going to last?
That's a story for another day. But yeah.
See, I actually did this exercise with Syracuse fans last year over the summer. Okay, you were not yet a believer necessarily in Syracuse football.
I was not.
You were not, and that's okay. I mean, nobody really was outside of Syracuse fans because we could kind of see it coming with Kyle McCord, and we were buying into the Fran Brown hype, and hey, we were proven right, which is great, right? I said to some Syracuse fans, I was like, hey, what if I told you that Syracuse is going to make the college football playoff in 2024? Like, they're going to be that Indiana team. They're going to make the college football playoff. They're going to have this magical season. And I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen in the college football playoff, but they will make it. Will you take that and you lose Fran Brown after just 1 year? Or basically what we just had, which is a 9-win regular season, and you keep Fran Brown? Now, I was in the camp of, I'll take the 1 year of making the college football playoff because I don't know if they'll ever make it.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, what do you think is next for them as a program? Like, is this still a program that needs a lot of help, or is it a program that's at least, I mean, offensively, obvious, like the receiver, tight end room, they lost Gadsden. That's not going to replace him either. Very unique football player. Are they going to have to do a whole bunch of things to be good offensively? Or like Ricky Collins, I saw him in high school, but he hasn't played much at LSU, transfers in, he's got the job. Are they a mystery again in 2025?
They are a complete mystery. It is impossible to project Syracuse next year, good or bad. Now, most of the time when something's a mystery, you project it to be bad because it's the unknown. And you are going to project the teams that you think are going to be good because they have proven commodities. So you're going to say, yep, that team is going to be good, right? Syracuse's offense last year was one of the best offenses in the entire country. It was led by Kyle McCord. They did keep offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon, which is a nice thing. That's a good thing. They paid him. And they had Trebor Peña. They had Jackson Meeks. They had Aronde Gadsden. And they had LaQuinn Allen out of the backfield. They're all gone. It's unrecognizable. How can you predict Syracuse next year? I can't. And that's like my job is to say, like, I think Syracuse is going to win X amount of games. I have no idea. because I don't know if Ricky Collins is good. He didn't play in the spring game. We didn't even get a look at him because he has a hand injury. It's not considered to be serious, but he didn't play in the spring game. So we didn't get that glimpse of Ricky Collins to see what he could be. Now Trebor Peña is gone. We have no clue who is going to replace him. Oronde Gadsden is gone. I guess we're hoping that Jamie Tremble is going to fill his shoes. Jackson Meeks is gone. Okay, I guess Daryl Gill is going to fill his shoes. LaQuinn Allen is gone. Yassine Willis was a true freshman last year. Here you go, buddy. Here's the starting running back. It's a mystery box. I have no idea how to project Syracuse, specifically their offense next year, because they're all gone.
That's fair. One last thought on Peña here. Do you think if he goes to a team that's ranked, let's say top 10 or so, he could be the missing piece to give them a shot to win a national title?
Oh, yeah. I think he's a really good football player. I don't think it's an accident that he is entering the transfer portal. I don't think someone's going to get him. And I mean by that, like someone like a good program is going to get him. And it's one of the taxes of having a good season when you're a perceived smaller program is that the big boys are going to want to scoop up your players. It's just the world that we're living in. And those big boys, we're going to talk about it soon, tend to have deeper pockets. So they're going to offer more for your players who they think are really good and can play at that higher level. And Trebor Peña can absolutely be a missing piece to a team that has a chance to win a national championship. We can go over some possible destinations, but you put them on Georgia, who they could use a wide receiver. That could help them win the SEC and catapult them into another national title run. Well, why not? He's a really good football player. He might not put up the same stats that he did at Syracuse. In fact, he won't, because that was the most prolific offense in the country. It's not really possible for him to do that. But it's not, his ability is still going to be there. So even if the numbers aren't necessarily there, his ability will be there, and he's going to start basically anywhere. I think he might be the best slot receiver in the country. I think that's a missing piece for, we could talk about the definition of missing piece, but getting someone who might be the best at what they do around the nation. Oh, of course he can go somewhere and be the missing piece.
Well, I appreciate everything, Jackson. Tell everybody where they can find your work, my friend.
Sure. Locked On Syracuse on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, audio, at @LO_Syracuse on Twitter. And my personal Twitter is @JacksonH_52.
Appreciate it, sir. You can find this podcast, the Portal Podcast, wherever you get your pods, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Odyssey, and everywhere else. Please like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star review if you're listening on audio. We will see you again soon.